for a long time, since the 1940s, there's a concerted effort to try and keep this material from the public. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to hide it in plain sight. Make it so that credible experiences that come out, credible reports, sightings, are surrounded with ridicule, surrounded with the debunkers who try and give prosaic explanations for something which just defies explanation.
There is a small percentage of things that cannot be explained.
But even if it's only 1% that can't be explained, or if it's 1/1000th of 1%, that's enough. It only takes one.
The Phoenix Lights are tremendously significant because they're another wake-up call for people who are skeptical or people who are secretly wondering what it's all about. And the Phoenix Lights were so visible, seen by so many, and so publicly acknowledged, even in the media.
If you can create a structured controversy, say, I'm going to let the flare story happen, knowing that a lot of people aren't going to believe it and some people are, but let's see how it goes. And then let's get on the phone and let's call up USA Today, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, and let it trickle down through the news management that we think this story should be covered. You get your people there. And it happened. It happened in a big way.
It happened fast and turned a lot of heads, made worldwide news, and then it was denied.
Why wouldn't all these news media people who are in a perfect position to investigate all this, why aren't they at the least bit curious? Why don't they want to know what it is?
Look what happened in '52 when all those craft flew around the Capitol building and everybody went, 4,000 people saw them and looked up and went, oh my God, oh my God. Nothing happened. The word barely got out across the country. That's not true anymore.
The Phoenix Lights is the first case, that's the first case where there was chat rooms about it. Microsoft Network Forums had a weekly chat room about the Phoenix Lights.
It was the Phoenix Lights website I had gone to, and the first thing I thought was just like the color and the shape of the lights. It was just like, this is what I saw.
That's the way that everything will go in the next wave for investigating UFO cases and talking about it. It's going to be the internet as the tool. So as sightings like the Phoenix Lights have happened elsewhere in the world, people can go, hey, it's just like we saw in Phoenix.
So many witnesses, thousands and millions of witnesses all over the planet are telling the media all over the planet basically the same story.
Phoenix Lights had global impact because of the international news that happened about it, not dismissing it. Not only was it a very significant mass sighting, many investigators call it the largest sighting ever, lasting the longest amount of time, seen by the largest number of people, grand scale. But at another level, global media. It was all over the news everywhere for a long time, months and months, and then every year it gets on the media again because there's something significant about it.
When I first joined the military, I put in for Luke for the simple fact that the occurrence of '97. I was hoping to maybe see something myself.
When the orbs returned in January of '98, I was on the roof of our building at Village Labs, having been on alert. Dr. Lynn called. We had been alerted that the orbs had been showing up the nights before. So everyone, the Phoenix Lights Video Witnesses Club, if you will, were all ready with their cameras in their various positions around the valley.
When I first stepped out on my balcony and saw the two amber orbs to the southwest, I dropped my soda on the balcony and ran in to grab my video camera.
And I put the spotter scope right on it, zeroed in it, and it stayed right on it. And what was extraordinary is that light went off and it came on again over a 20-minute period, and it did not move from that position because it stayed fixed in the scope. I have to tell you, I was really deeply impressed by the display that unfolded. As Jim came up to join me, we really were now together to witness a grand display of several orbs that were variously in a straight line, as if you could draw a ruler or lay a ruler end to end, lights going on and off in the same positions, and then ending up in a triangle as if to communicate a simple geometric base message.
A lot of the times the orbs will line up in a straight line. They'll move into patterns, mostly geometric patterns. Greater frequency of the triangular shape.
It was impressive, and we both reacted as if this was an extraordinary event and certainly not a display of flares thanks to the military.
I've been sitting out on the balcony every night since. I've got some good footage so far, and it's pretty compelling.
I think society is influenced, of course, by Hollywood and the perception that, you know, there's this fear element and that's a natural response.
Hollywood has really trained us to feel that aliens are scary and they're going to hurt us, and, you know, there's really no way to know what to expect except for what we've been trained to believe.
Hollywood likes the violence. All the movies and all the E.T. movies, every time E.T. and UFOs and all this is involved, 95% of it's violence, where they're attacking us, they're killing us. So a lot of people has a mindset right here that, hey, those are evil people, those are evil beings, they're here to hurt me. And yet, I think that's the furthest thing from the truth there is.
If I would see something in the daytime, big, huge thing coming flying over, I think I'd be a little afraid.
When children especially saw this mile-long triangle craft, they were scared. Their initial reaction was fear. But as it slowly passed right over their heads, silent, gliding right over them, not only children but adults as well felt a connection to the phenomena, felt a calmness take over them.
Nobody I talked to said I was terrified. What they said was, I was amazed, I was astounded, it was incredible, I was excited.
It amazes me that we got to see something that large, that low to the ground, that slow, no visible means of propulsion whatsoever, no noise whatsoever, and it was able to stay up, and it did no damage. If it were ours, the amount of propulsion needed to stay up because of our gravity, it would have destroyed buildings, houses, it would deafen people, people would have been wrecking cars. I mean, none of that happened. It was a totally friendly visit. No one was hurt, no one was scared.
They didn't become blind, and nothing was dropped on them.
Nothing had happened to me. Nothing had happened to anyone I'd known. Nobody was harmed.
What most people experienced was this phenomenal sense of wonder and awe and appreciation for being alive and witnessing it at that moment.
Once all these things came to my mind, I just thought, wow, what a neat thing. And that actually helped open up my mind to the rest of my life with a sense of wonder.
Almost universally, people who have anomalous experiences with lights or craft or things that they see never recount it as fearful. Always recount it as filled with awe and wonder,
of amazement, of wanting to connect to these phenomena.
Hopefully, as society matures a little bit more and becomes more comfortable about talking about these events, these beings, that fear will diminish. And I think if the fear continues, that's their choice. They're using that then as a defense mechanism to help them be comfortable with something they can't put a label on, something they cannot explain.
If you're terrified of seeing something, and then you see something that you're terrified of, what are you going to do? Your own beliefs are going to color you to lead you to have a negative experience. So it's your belief structure that has prevented you from having the positive experience that's really there.
When people recount an experience, it tells you more about them than it actually does about the experience. If they need to be angry, they usually vent annoyance and how dare they and that kind of thing. But over time, and looking at it and comparing it with others, there is almost nothing really fearful about any of it.
Imagine that you're an unearthly being. You want to communicate. You want to help. But if you appear, you show up in a seminar room, or you show up at the foot of somebody's bed, or you come down in lights, what's going to happen? You're going to frighten people. So how do you, if you could put yourself in their shoes, if there is a their shoes, how do you go about helping without frightening?
It is important that people, at the very least, have an open mind. It is important that they are also very prepared and to deal with whatever happens.
I discovered in my own research that these powerful types of experiences have happened throughout history in various cultures, but they're described differently in different cultures.